Eastern Conference flavor. And speaking of streaks, Montreal's stoppage of Carolina not equaled by Cleveland as New York's won 9 straight, the longest postseason winning streak in franchise history. They're the 13th team in NBA history to get on a 9-game run in a single postseason. Of the previous 12, all but one reached the NBA Finals, which makes sense because you win that many in a row, you're talking about spreading it out over a number of series, right? In NBA playoff history, teams who take a 2-0 lead in the best of 7 have won over 92% of the time. Most recently, it was 2020. The Knicks are the 11th team to take a 2-0 lead in the conference finals, and the previous 10 won them all. Series shifts to Cleveland, Game 3, Saturday night. Cavs look to avoid a 3-0 series deficit. No teams overcome in playoff history. Cavs, though, have been good at home this postseason. Joined now by Tim Legler, who is courtside in the Garden, where the Knicks roll to a 2-0 series lead. And Tim, the connectivity of the Knicks defense felt like a big part of this night. Cleveland started hot from 3, then couldn't buy one. Am I onto something? Is the Knicks defense the reason why they won this game tonight?
Knicks defense has turned into an elite defense here in the postseason, and they adjusted some things during the course of the year. You know, their efficiency of their offense, Scott, has helped that defense because when you're taking the ball out of the net a lot, that's what you're going to get. Defensively, you can set up, you can see the ball in front of you, and you can execute the game plan, and you get the appropriate matchups that you want. Their offense has helped to a great degree. There's no doubt that the Cleveland Cavaliers' three-point shooting failed them in this game because that's the shot you're going to have to make if the Knicks are going to be this connected off the dribble in the way they're going to protect the lane. You're going to have to knock down your share of three-point shots, and tonight just wasn't Cleveland's night. And on the other end, Josh Hart had an answer for that with 5 of his own because Cleveland decided to leave him most of the night, and he made him pay.
Brunson was ordinary to below average in terms of his scoring. I think he had 17 against Atlanta, but that was the game they won by like 50 points. But he had a career high in the playoffs in assists. If you tell Cleveland and Coach Atkinson, hey, he's going to get 19, they're going to feel good about their chances. How did Brunson facilitate and put others in a position to hurt Cleveland?
He recognized immediately the shift, and the shift was this. They were going to rotate multiple bodies to his side of the floor. They let him play, obviously, one-on-one in that fourth quarter of Game 1 late. And I think now the adjustment, and he was waiting for it. He was prepared for it. He wasn't as aggressive looking for his offense. He wanted to accept 2 because that's the responsibility of a great player and then move it out of there. Tonight was his job as a playmaker. He picked them apart. He ran the team. They had 7 turnovers as a group. A lot of that falls on the shoulders of Jalen Brunson, getting them properly spaced, reading where the traffic was coming from, and then delivering the ball where it was supposed to go to make the game very easy in 4-on-3s and 3-on-2s out of those traps.
I'm a big fan of Donovan Mitchell across the board. Everything about his constitution. At the end of this game, Tim, he's applauding to his bench. He's giving his guys a look like, we're all right, we're all right. They have to know, and their heart of hearts, Tim, we have to win a game in the Garden to win this series, and we had a 22-point lead in Game 1 and we lost it. I'm not saying they can't win this series, but when you go back home knowing what you let get away in Game 1, in your heart of hearts, do you have to feel like, I don't know how we win this series if you're the Cavs?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been my mentality since they let that slip away. Scott, you said it. It's a math problem, right? You got to get to 4. And for the Cavs, they had a different problem coming in. They had to win a road game. The Knicks don't. And the Cavs had a road win right there in front of them. We're not able to close the deal. So I was really curious to see how they came out tonight. I expected the Knicks to be much better offensively early in the game because it took them a while to find their rhythm after that layoff. And they were better offensively in the first half. But there, you look up, and the Cavs are right there. So I think they took the first punch. Emotionally, they were in the right place. But once the run came, that's when you kind of felt a little bit that loss of Game 1 carried over in that moment. Were they going to be able to answer that run or stop the bleeding if the Knicks were able to get separation in the second half and the Cavs weren't? And they still haven't solved the Jalen Brunson riddle because he went ISO mostly in the fourth quarter overtime of Game 1, got a win. Tonight, a lot of traffic. He picks them apart. They haven't figured out that end of the floor. That's the biggest challenge for the Cavs, as well as you have to get better shooting out of your role players around the star guards. And Sam Merrill, And Max Strus, guys like that, you know how much I appreciate what they do.
Of course.
The way I made my living, and I expect them to be better at home because those guys are too elite, particularly Merrill, who had great looks in the first half and could have made a big difference. I know he's beating himself up a little bit. Those guys will be better in Cleveland. I expect the offense to be better. How do they solve this Jalen Brunson problem? That's still an issue for the Cavs.
Cleveland has been fantastic at home. They are going to have to be. New York now just 2 games away from making it to the NBA Finals. Tim Legler, appreciate the time. We'll talk Saturday, all right? It only is getting more blinding in terms of the assemblage of stars because, man, the city is 2 games away from the Finals. This New York team, I think, expected to win the series. They were favorites. It would have been suffocating pressure if they dropped game 1, but they didn't. What did you see from the home team tonight? What kind of freedom?
Yeah, so this Knicks team really does have a lot going for it. They are not a perfect team. They were not the best team in the NBA during the regular season, but they have a lot going for it. And one of the things that they can do is play different ways. They have different players who can do different things. And so Jalen Brunson crushes the Cavs in game 1. So the Cavs come back naturally and try to clamp down on him. They totally don't guard Josh Hart. And this was one of the reasons why he got benched at the end of game 1 because the Knicks weren't surviving well when they were going 4-on-5. This game, they go to him, and he crushes the Cavs with an all-time terrific performance from him, not only with the 26 points, but also with 7 assists. So not only did Brunson end up with 14 assists, one of his best assist games ever, but he got a bunch of hockey assists because he was kicking it to Hart, and the Cavs would scramble to him, and he would kick it onward. This is what really good teams do, what championship teams do. Beat you in different ways. The Hart and Brunson thing is still a problem for the Cavs, but it was Josh Hart that knocked them off tonight.
This Cleveland team knows the assignment, right? They have to win a game in the Garden, and they let one that they had in their grasp slip through their fingers. They have been great at home. They did erase a 0-2 deficit already. What's your sense of how they respond as this series pivots to Cleveland over the weekend?
Well, you know, Kenny Atkinson likes to focus on process. He likes to think about stuff like shot quality. He will probably say after this game that they did have good process, that they got a lot of open shots, that they just missed them, and that if they get those same open shots in games 3 and 4, they could come back here in game 5 and have it 2-2. That could be true. But the truth is their margin for error against a team like the Knicks is just much smaller. And even though Donovan Mitchell has played fine, he has not played special. And you're going to need special to win in the Garden. And so they're going to go back in a situation where they got to win 4 out of 5. And I think the odds of that are very long. And I suspect, you never know in the NBA, but I suspect game 1 is going to stick in their minds for a long time.
I completely agree with that. The Donovan Mitchell applauding to his team at the end, that's leadership, but they know in their heart of hearts, look, we had the win we had to get, and we squandered it. And I just wonder how you flush that entirely. Just a final thought on this Knicks team, because I agree, look, they weren't the best team in the league, but all they have to be is the best team in June if they get there. Just imagine for me the city, the Garden, and this Knicks team in a final series. What might that look like?
So this isn't just about this year. This fan base started falling in love with this team 2 years ago when they made that first playoff run. And then last year when they upset the Celtics. And then really this is the culmination of a multi-year stage to get close to it. And the city loves the way they play. This is not a mercenary team. They have built this team methodically. They have their 10,000 hours in with this group. They've watched them have a bunch of comeback victories. Scott, they've got 4 20-point comeback wins in the playoffs in the last 2 years. All of that has built this incredible faith in this roster. You feel the connection in the building. You feel the connection in the city. This is something, look, around here, they talk about 1994 and grown men get tears in their eyes and look up to the ceiling. That's building with this unit. I don't know if they're going to win it, but you can feel that what's happening now is going to be celebrated for a long time. Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges are going to be sitting courtside here in 20 years, no matter how this season ends up.
About that, and this is sort of, I don't know, this is a bit of psychological study here. If, and I underline if, they win 2 more games and they await the winner of the Spurs and the Thunder, could all of that, could the city, could all the alumni, could it become a lot to deal with, right? It's not just the 4 games you got to win. It's the ghosts, and it's how desperately the alums want to see this group do it. Feels like a lot to me.
I don't think so. I don't think so.